Biswajit Sahu, and I have around near about 10 years of experience in SAP, and I have worked on modules starting from Java, and then ABAP, and then CRM, our technical, and latest both CRM techno-functional role.
Great, great. So that's very like interesting, and like it's very easy for you to understand this technology. Okay.
Hmm.
So do you know about any knowledge about SAP Cloud for Customer or any Cloud for Application Studio?
Yes, but I have a fair amount of knowledge, and but I didn't get like chance or major exposure of in terms of learning. So
Mhm.
before that, I just want to know right now how is the, because I want to change from, I'm from CRM techno-functional background,
Mhm.
and I work as a lead in my projects. So I want to change into this cloud area. So how is the market and all? So in technical side and all.
So market is like it's very in peak level, and now like if you know about functional and technical both, then you are just have a like a unique skill, because
Mhm.
you already know you already just in the CRM techno function, right? And you know about technical and functional as well, right? Here
Yeah,
in
correct.
C4, functional is like you can easily grasp, okay, and
Mhm.
the technically, like if you have a technical background like Java and CRM, right, both, so it's
Mhm.
like very good for you to understand this technology very easily, because most of the terms and the syntax and all the technical perspectives based on the Java language. Okay,
Mhm.
so you are like easy to understand, and so here like main is based on your uh, how to just build your business logic. Okay, so that's very important.
Mhm. Mhm.
Otherwise,
Uh,
like whatever just provide by standard, like SAP just designing screen and everything, that is a
mhm.
standard things. Okay, so just you need to drag and drop and just ready to use.
Okay. Because what I have following the partner portal of ACP, what they
Mhm.
suggest is mostly they recommend customers in C4C implementation to avoid technical changes or config changes. So, like then
Yeah.
when I assume in terms of scope, like in CRM, it's a huge, for technical roles, a huge scope and all.
But just think about yourself
Mm-hmm.
now. If I have a scenario and that is not fulfill my requirement in the out of the scope,
Mm-hmm.
how to achieve that?
Enhancements.
Yes. Okay. So that's one option. The second option is like a key user tool. I will explain later like what is that. So without any coding, just you need to just in terms of CRM, that's called AET, right?
Yeah, correct.
So here same functionality is there, but you cannot build a business logic. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's only the statics thing, and you can just configure it. But to just implement a business logic, you need to touch to technical cloud application studio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let me start, and I will just give you that like high level about SAP Cloud Application Studio, how to use and what are the ways. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start if you know about SAP Hybrid Cloud for Customer, right? So every quarterly SAP release a new functionality in the cloud for customer, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that why based on that, SAP Cloud Application Studio is also upgraded. Okay. Currently the release is what we can say 1705, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because 70 is nothing but the year of current year, and 05 is nothing but the quarter. 05 is month. Okay, now the next quarter is 1708. Okay, so if any new functionality is coming, that will automatically impact on the cloud application studio, and meanwhile we need to download the latest version of cloud application studio. Okay, so both the version will be same, then and then you can log in this cloud application studio. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now SAP just provides some area that partner or like whatever the customer can just enhance that solution. Okay, in terms of SAP CRM or like ECC, that is the enhancement body, right? So you
Yeah.
cannot change standard program, right, directly without any SAP permission. So you need the SAP key to change that, to change the logic or like whatever that you want to change, right? But here SAP is not provide full authority to change their functionality in the Cloud Application Studio. Okay, so for customer and partner, they just provide some space where you can enhance your solution, okay, and fulfill your requirement. Okay, so suppose like in the customer, right, you want to just change your layout, full layout, then SAP is not provide that permission to change the layout. But yes, you can enhance and you can add your custom component within the cloud customer. Okay, so that permission that SAP is provide.
Okay,
Okay,
you mean to say a complete new component?
yeah, complete new component, but it's embedded to the customer.
Okay, okay. Means
Okay,
in terms of this business object.
right, correct. Okay, and like all this Cloud Application Studio is integrated development. Okay, so you can integrate your other third-party system, you can integrate with your SAP other system, you can integrate within the C4C, right? So this type of environment they have just provided in the Cloud Application Studio, and this is based on the Microsoft platform. If you know about the Microsoft.NET, we are just open the Microsoft Visual Studio, right? Same thing we are just using for SAP Cloud Application Studio. Okay, but whatever the syntax and everything is based on the C# language, so that's similar to Java. Import libraries, if statements, syntax and everything, so that will be available in the like as a part of the business logic.
Okay.
Okay. Now coming to the like introduction, like as a technical side, like we have a two option in cloud for customer C4C. One is a SDK and one is a adapt. SDK is nothing but software development kit that we are just enhancing, we are just implementing our business object, we are just implementing our business logic. That SDK having a three part. One is ABSL, one is BODL and one is Ruby. So there is another language, Ruby Rails, but this is a SAP Ruby language. Now ABSL is nothing but advanced business scripting language where we are just implementing our business logic. Okay, so this is the main language of the SDK. Now this is like similar to the Java language. Okay, now here we can say like BODL, business object definition language. If you know about like a table in SE11, okay, so we are just designing a table and that table we are using in the different in the model pool, in the CRM, web UI and everything, right?
Correct.
Similar way we are just implementing business object definition in the structure manner. Okay, so like it's a header entity, node entity, item level entity, so it will be 0 to n cardinality, it will be 0 to 1 cardinality. So that type of functionality we can just design in the business object BODL.
It's basically like tables, defining tables and all the elements, right?
Correct. Yeah. So here what we are just defining in the CRM or like ECC, we are just defining a data element, data type, right, domain, data field, column. So same way we are just defining the column and that data type. Okay, so these are the like cardinality 0 to n, like we are just defining a table within the table, right? So that type of functionality we are just designing in the BODL. Okay, now the third part, SAP Ruby language. So in some of the like tools, like they have a capability to just execute the logic within the front end screen, right? So we have option in the Cloud Application Studio in the UI designer. When we design the screen, we can implement the logic based on specific condition or based on specific element. We can execute the logic and just change the UI. Okay, so that will be handled by SAP Ruby. So
Okay, I
these
didn't
are,
understand the Ruby part. Where it is exactly used?
so whenever you design the screen, okay, so this ABSL and BODL is nothing but the core part of the like SDK. So you need to just write down your logic in ABSL, write down your BODL structure in business object, but the Ruby is just implemented in the front end UI designer. When you design the screen, at that time you have a property to just change your logic based on certain condition.
Okay.
Okay, so if you know about Java, right, there is an option drag and drop functionality. Yeah, you can change the properties and everything, but
Mhm.
now based on certain condition, my field will be visible, my field will be read only, like that type of logic you can build in the Ruby Rails.
Mhm.
I will explain later, like once that part is coming, so you have a just better idea. Now coming to the second component, like adaptation is nothing but just enhancing your screen without touch to SDK. Okay, so now there is a three part. One is KUT key user tool, one is configuration part. So all type of configuration, like a drop down list, what type of data you can visible for this value, and the rules is nothing but without touching to SDK, just implement your rules and implement your design screen. So that will applicable to rules, and you can raise your message if the field is blank, or like if field is mandatory. You can just enable disable your field based on other fields. Okay, so dependent fields you can make it from the rules. So these are the like adaptation part, where without SDK you can just implement your customization for the specific screen. So any doubt in here?
What's the difference then? Because field label changes that I can do through adaptation, right? So, like in terms of properties or business logic behind the population of fields, I can do through adaptation. So what I
Yeah,
understand, SDK only I can do those component label changes.
yeah. So the difference is, so just take an example, like you just have a requirement like, hey, I want to add a custom field in the customer. Now you have added through adapt mode. Okay, you have configured it. You just make it visible and invisible. Now your requirement is a based on that some value, this custom field will be populated. So that business logic is involved, right?
Correct.
If it is a user entry, if that field is just only entered by user, then you can just go for the adapt mode. Okay, so that is very easy part. Now but like your business say, hey, if my customer type is like sold to or bill to, just populate this field and just calculate this field. So for that you need to go to the SDK and just implement your logic in the BODL, sorry, ABSL.
Mhm.
So whenever like you just implement your logic, you just decide like, hey, this if this my customer role is equal to sold to party, my field value is equal to this, like that way. But you cannot just handle your business logic within the adapt mode. So are you clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now coming to the system environment. In the C4C, like we have a 4 components: integration, configurations, development, and extension. Now coming to the development is nothing but like if your customer or your business have a requirement like, hey, we have implemented custom table in our ERP system or our CRM system, and we have designed the model proof program, or like we have designed the web UI screen, okay, in our environment. Now you want to same thing within the C4C, then you just come to Cloud Application Studio, design your develop your custom business object, develop your custom screen, okay. So this type of involvement is just done by in the development section. That is full from scratch. You are just designing your business object, designing your screen and everything, and just fulfill your requirement. Come to the second part, extension. Now in this ECC or CRM, in the customer master, you have this implemented a custom embed component or custom component, and that is embedded to the customer. So when I just create any customer in ECC, I have one tab where I just entered my custom attribute or whatever the business requirement. I just make it a custom component. Now same thing that you want in the C4C side. So we have option, we have present to just enhance the standard component, okay, and add a custom facet within the any of the object like account, contact, sales order, sales code, or whatever. So based on requirement, you can extend your standard solution, okay. So that's the second part. Third part, configuration. Configuration is nothing but like in the SPRO, like in the ECC or CRM, we are just configure some drop down values, some like account roles, right? So same thing we can just we can do in the C4C system. Now this is called a standard configuration. Now coming to the custom configuration. In the ECC or CRM, you just implemented a custom drop down list, okay, and you just implemented that drop down as a configurable part. Like, hey, I don't want to just change my development, but I just need one configuration part of that drop down where user can maintain that value, and automatically that value will be reflected in the drop down list. So that is a configurable part. Now in the C4C end, we have option like, hey, I have a one custom field that is a drop down value, like a classification A, B, and C. Okay. Now I need to add a few values in the drop down. Then we can make it a configurable drop down, and admin can add the value or change the value. Okay. So that's coming in the configuration part. Now most important part is integration. Now like I will just give you the real-time example. Now in the ECC, like there is a payment cards options available in the account, okay. So you can maintain your credit cards, you can maintain your credit cards, multiple credit card in account level, okay, customer level. Now in C4C, we don't have any option to maintain the missed credit card information against account. So what we just implemented, so I will just give you the example, like we have just designed the component, developed the component using development. We have extended the account component and add the facet called the credit card. Now that component we have integrated through the ECC system. So when the payment card or like any customer is replicate to C4C, that credit card information is coming within the customer and placed in the custom component. Okay, so that's total custom integration. So that integration we have just implemented through a web service, SOAP API. So that API that we have consumed in the middleware HANA Cloud platform. Okay, so whenever the customer is replicate from ECC to HCI, that credit card information is also send it with the customer and place it in the custom visual or custom SOAP UI, and that custom SOAP UI is just integrated with C4C system. Okay, so using this flow like ECC to HCI and HCI to C4C, we have just achieved that requirement. So that it's total custom requirement, okay, or custom integration that we have implemented.
So it's like bi-directional or unidirectional?
No, it's a unidirectional, because we are not sending a customer from C4C to ECC. Most of the client, they don't want to replicate customer from C4C to ECC. Their customer will be just created in ECC and just replicate to the C4C system. Okay.
So how these prospects then happen? I mean, if they have a prospect, let's say in terms of sales scenario. In C4C, they might be creating prospects and all, right?
Right.
So in that case, a customer will be created in C4C.
Yeah. So some, like one of the customer like have a requirement like the prospect is not replicate to the C4C, prospect is not replicate to the ECC or CRM, but when it convert to customer, it will replicate to the ECC or CRM. So that type of scenarios also comes in some clients. Okay.
Okay. But in your case, you haven't done it, right? That's
yes. In our case, like in this our real-time requirement, like that the customer is only the unidirectional from ECC to CRM, C4C. Okay, so this is this system environment is specific to application studio. Okay, so we can develop, we can extend, we can configure, and we can integrate. So it's not only the ECC integration or CRM integration. This is overall all like non-SAP system with the REST API or SOAP API. Okay, it's also integrated with the mashups. Mashup is part of the integration also. Okay, so if you know about the transaction launcher in CRM, okay, same flexibility is provided by SAP, like to launch a third-party system screen from the C4C end, or you can also display that screen within the C4C, passing some parameter. But yes, whenever you just go for the integration, there are some prerequisite that you need to just know about, like that integration, like hey, which type of API that we need to consume in the C4C end, either like it's a SOAP API or REST API. Okay, even like what are the authentication methods and everything is available for that API. So because in the C4C we have options to just have authentication on the visual level, not on the header level. Okay. So you need to just aware about that things whenever you just implemented integration.
So you'll be covering all this integration part, right? I'm talking about real-time scenario.
Yeah, so this is also comes in the real-time scenario. So if you know about the standard integration, standard application that is out of the box, that you can also extend through the integration body. So I will just give you that example. So one of the requirement is like the number range. So what once the customer is created in C4C system, okay, and replicate to the ECC or CRM system, what they want to change the number range. Okay, so they have a specific number range they are using in the ECC system or CRM system. So what we have just do here, we have implemented the body. So whenever the replication is happen and the number is generated, we are just maintaining the custom number range in the custom business object. We have picked the value and send it to the ECC or CRM system, because the number range is not like fulfilled in the CRM system, C4C system that we have just implemented custom business object. We have just designed the logic. When the number is sent, automatically number will be incremented in the custom business object. So whenever the next customer is replicate to C4C to CRM, it will pick that next number and again increment by 1 and just place it the new number. So that type of integration we have just implemented through enhancing a body.
So what I understand, in C4C you don't have a proper number range.
No, like suppose one of the customer like have a number range that having a like a dash format and like that way. Okay. Now that dash format is not available in C4C. So special character is not available. Now here we have a like a full number range, okay, for external and internal number. Now they want like that same number like with the dash and everything that will replicate from C4C to ECC. Okay. So we have implemented custom number range. We have a provision to create your number range. Okay. And in the through enhancing a body, we have just read that number and just send it to the ECC system.
So that body is in C4C side.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Got it.
Because we need to sync ECC and the C4C, because my external number is A-0001. So same number will be replicate to the ECC system A-0001, right? So when I create a customer here, then my external number is generated. The same number will be generated in the ECC end. So it will be synced. So whenever I just create a sales order, okay, and replicate the sales order to the ECC system, my customer number will be same, right? Then and then that that sales order application is happening. Otherwise, it will throw the error in the ECC end like, hey, this number is not available.
And this will be through IDOC, I guess.
Correct. Through IDOC, yes. So any doubt here in the integration?
I guess you'll be covering very well integration scenario, because in C4C, my assumptions is that integration is a very key challenge area, right? While the development part and everything.
Sometimes what like if the integration is not available, okay, so what we are just doing, we are just using a point-to-point integration, right? So it's like a direct consume the API and just send it to the data. That's it. Otherwise, just consume the API from the third-party system or SAP system and just read the data. Okay, so that's a point-to-point integration. So in that case, you don't need to worry about anything.
Point-to-point in the case you're talking about XML file or
visual file.
Visual file, web
yeah.
services.
Yes, yeah. Correct. Okay. So because what's like advantage is the advantage is like whenever like you just use a point-to-point integration, okay, now you don't need to worry about any middleware and everything. Okay, so it's directly point to your target system, because we already consume the target system API. Once the data is saved in the save logic, we have just triggering our API and just send it to the target system data. Okay, so like that will also happen through target to source. Like I will give you the example. In the C4C system, whenever the customer is created, they have one Java tool. Okay, Java tool they have just like implemented a screen the customer. Okay, so they whenever the customer is created in C4C, they want to send to that Java system. So we have consumed that API in C4C system. Whenever customer is created and just click on save it, we are triggering that API and just send it to the Java system. So that customer is just placed in the Java system. Okay.
So if
So
I'm
that
not wrong, that is, I guess, to PCM, right? Partner
sorry,
channel. PCM, the fundamental is about like PCM, partner channel management, where
uh, partner
like
channel management. It's a. Are you talking about the HANA Cloud partner channel management or?
no, let's say about there are a lot of third party Java based systems
Right,
that
correct. Right. So it's a partner, yeah, partner channel management, partner portal. Okay. So whenever I just create a customer in C4C, automatically customer will be displayed in the partner channel portal. Okay. But behind, like, we have consumed that API. Now the other scenario is, now the partner channel is created something in their end, like a lead or opportunity that will replicate to the C4C system. So in this case, they need to consume a C4C API in the partner channel in the backend. Whenever the lead is created or the opportunity is created, they are sending a data to C4C system through the API. Okay. So this is both the case. You can just consume the API. If C4C need to send the data, we need to consume that API. If partner channel need to send the data to C4C, we need to consume like they need to consume the C4C API.
and
Okay.
Nitin, do you have any idea on the e-commerce integration part of the data hub?
E-commerce.
Yeah, the data hub.
Yeah. So suppose if that customer have a HANA Cloud integration. Okay. Now, sometimes what, like, that customer have a requirement like, hey, we are just placing this file in the FTP server. You need to read the data and just send it to the C4C system, or this is like a file where you need to place the data from C4C system. So in this case, HCI is the main component, or like a feasible component that where like we can just read the data from C4C system and place in the FTP file. Okay, same thing, if I have a data in the FTP server and just pass it to the C4C system, same thing, I need to use HCI and just read the data and just send it to the C4C system. So this is one case. The second case is like uh, sending a data to e-commerce. Okay, either I need to consume that API, or I need to check in the HCI like, hey, is there any API available in e-commerce, and is there any API available in the C4C? I need to map in the HCI and make that happen.
So e-commerce is the middleware is HCI or data hub? When there is
So
integration between C4C and hybrid e-commerce.
correct. So if a hybrid e-commerce, so hybrid e-commerce is just placed on the Java Java toolkit, right? Java development. So we are just like we are just preferring a HANA Cloud integration. That's like a very preferable way, because one customer like have a requirement, they have a data in the FTP server, they need to read the data, okay, from the FTP server and send it to the e-commerce system. So like SAP just recommended use a HANA Cloud integration. That's like a very preferable tool that you can read the data from any source, not within the FTP, but any source. Okay, so they can directly just read the data from the database also. That type of capability they have at CI. Okay, so we have just recommended, or SAP just recommended, use a HANA Cloud integration tool, and you can just fulfill your requirement within this scenario and like that way. So HANA Cloud integration is like a full all the including all the options like FTP, a data warehousing, a database, and everything. Even the custom integration, we are also using a HANA Cloud integration using a custom iFlow. Because they have a like HCI have a capability to consume any type of API like OData, REST API, SOAP API, or any asynchronous API. Okay, so we can just make a custom iFlow and we can just integrate with any system.
So I guess it's better than PI, than HCI is.
Right, correct. Because PI is a specific tool that will integrate it with integrate to ECC and CRM, right? Because it's a SAP tool, right? This is also SAP tool, but SAP just implemented that way that a cloud platform including HANA Cloud integration, HANA Cloud platform, HANA Cloud portal, HANA Cloud services, everything. They are just make it in the one component, cloud platform. Okay, so we can integrate many systems through HANA Cloud integration. So any doubt about this integration, or if you have any questions, let me know.
We will be covering our hands-on, right? Because that's very important. Unless we work on a real-time hands-on, I mean.
So not every scenario, but I will explain, or I will just give you the hands-on, like how to consume the API. I will not give you that like hands-on on HANA Cloud integration, but I will just in the C4C side, whatever is like we need like minimum requirement like consumer API from a third-party system, that I will just give you that everything. Because HCI is part of a middleware, right? So that will just done by any middleware consultant. Just you need to provide your visual, or they will provide the visual to you for consumption, right? So that part is involved in the SDK.
But I guess now requirement what I'm seeing for an C4C consultant, you have to know integration, like functional also, technical,
Correct.
like as we are doing for CRM. So in because I'm looking for a
but once you just enter in the SDK, honestly, I just told you, you know very well about the functional, because you know the back end, like how the data will be executed. I am also like in the initial phase, I am also the technical consultant. Now I know about everything about the functional and integration using SDK, because whenever the SDK is involved, I need to check the use case first as a front end. Hey, what is your use case, right? Because so they just provide the business requirement. Hey, this is my business requirement. When the customer is selected, okay, I need to implement this logic. So they just explain me the business logic, business scenario. I just convert in the business logic and just implement it. So like slowly, I just understand the business requirement. I just understand the business process also. Okay. Now any custom integration is coming, I need to involve in the middleware. So middleware consultant just ask me like, hey, what is your visual? Okay, just give it to me. I just give it to him. He just explain like, hey, these are the issues. So I just need to look it into it like, hey, where is it wrong? So like this way, I just understand the integration part also. And slowly, I just understand like how to implement the custom iFlow and everything. But that's based on your dedication and just interest, like how much interest you just in the functional and the integration. Because some middleware consultant is not explain everything. You need to learn yourself. some middleware consultant explain like this is the scenario, this is the error, okay, and we are just doing like this way, okay. So that's based on that person, depends on that person how they explain you. Otherwise, what if I am a functional consultant, right, and I will just give you that functional specs like, hey, this is my requirement, like hey, create a custom field and implement the logic, but I will not give you the use case, right? So you don't understand the business requirement and the business process. So that's based on your whatever the team or whatever. Even in the what whenever the if customer what we can say requirement gathering session, if you are in the call, that is very helpful to you because you customer is just explain everything like what's their business process and everything, okay. Now if you know about the functional, then you can understand like, hey, this is the requirement, we can just fit in the standard like this way, but if it is not fit, that this is the way we can achieve it. Like this way you can like enhance your skill, like a functional skill and technical also. So any questions?
So far, good.
Okay, great. Even whenever like if you just jump into SDK, you have many questions like, hey, how to do like this way, how to do this, right? So you have better idea whenever you just hands-on experience within the system.
We'll be providing systems and everything, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I will give you that C4C means development environment. You can just play around with that system. Even there are so many solutions is created, you can also explore that solution. Okay, how the other people is just designing the solution, everything. Now coming to the system architecture. Now most of the system is three-tier architecture, right? Application layer, presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer. Same thing here. Application is presentation is nothing but wherever the end user is working on that, like creation of customer, creation of order, lead, opportunity, everything, right? So they just concentrate only the business process. Coming to the application layer, okay. So SAP have just implemented a few languages like ABSL and the BODL. I just explained you, right? So ABSL is nothing but the application layer where you just implement your business logic. Okay, so that is part of application layer. Now there is a one more layer that SAP is provided, like a public solution model for each component, like sales, service, and social. Now sales, in the sales, like if you know about the functional part, like sales is nothing but more on customers, leads, opportunity, sales order, like that. Now service is nothing but like a ticket management and like that way, right? So that is coming in the service model. Social is nothing but like Facebook integration, Twitter integration, right? So that part is coming in the social model. Now what in the PSM, SAP is released some additional functionality in this three module, okay, and you can use or you can utilize that functionality within the C4C SDK, okay. So that layer is just coming inside the SAP only. We cannot change anything, but we can utilize. Okay, so anything is coming from SAP that we can utilize, okay, but we cannot change. Now coming to the database, that's a HANA database, okay. So whatever the business object or business structures that we are just creating in the C4C, like in terms of SAP and ECC, ECC system, we are just creating a table, right? That will place in somewhere database, right? Same thing, whatever the business object that we have created, that will place in the HANA database. Okay, so we can read the value, we can create the value, we can update the value. We have option to query the data also, okay, based on certain parameter. Okay, so this is overall about the system architecture. Like customer is a key user tool, partner content is nothing but like where we are just enhancing our solution using ABSL or enhancement option. This is like a PSM module that all the SAP functionality is coming as a default and we can utilize, and this is a HANA database where all the data will be placed. So any questions here?
Yeah, I have one question. So
Yeah.
SAP Cloud, SAP C4C is not supporting the marketing module?
It support the marketing module but not a full-fledged. Like in the CRM system we have a like a campaign elements and everything, right? So
Yeah.
that we have only the one level campaign, we can execute the campaign and we can get the response and everything, but not in the full-fledged. For that, like many customers just buy a SAP hybrid marketing module.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to the next. So coming to the same section, like I just explained, there is a two-part, adapt and SDK. So same thing here, the KUT. So if I have a customer screen, I need to change or I need to create any field, I can do that through the front end only. But you have a sufficient authorization for your user. Then and then you can just do this activity. This activity is more on admin activity or development user activity. Okay, so you can add a mashup, you can add an embedded report, so everything you can do from the C4C adapt mode. Okay, now same thing but through SDK. Now here I can just add a field, I can embed a standard I can embed a custom component, embed a report, embed a mashups and everything. Even I can change the property of the field also, read only, visible, invisible, like that. Okay, so that is available in the SDK extensibility.
So ideally in project implementation, what is the methodology? So SDK or adapt?
So that depends on the requirement. I just explained like if they don't have any business logic in the custom field, then we just go for the KUT. Okay, so as an implementation or in the prepare phase, we just finalize it like how this field will be created through as KUT or through SDK. Okay, otherwise
Okay.
what happened? Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, as far as I know, SDK is more about technical, right? And KUT is
Correct.
more about like doing the config thing, which functional guy can also do.
Correct.
So if we have to implement any custom logic or business scenario or some validation kind of thing, then we need to go for the SDK.
Yeah, so
Or let's
not
say
valid
suppose,
because sorry, sorry.
let's say suppose if we have to add some custom field, custom attribute also on the screen, then we need to go for the SDK. So like we have to create one structure or something like that, and then we need to create the business object, something like that.
Okay, I will just give you the example. Suppose like one customer have a requirement like create a 3 custom field, okay, in the customer master. Now, so here 2 custom field is of free input tags. They like user can input that value. Okay. Now the other scenario is other custom field. Third custom field is whenever I create a customer, there is an external ID is generated. Okay, there is an external ID generated, but that external ID is just beside in the other other business object. Okay, so that that external ID is beside in the other object. It's not in the customer object. Now what they want to place that external ID within that custom field. So they don't want to go to that business object and query the data. So you need to implement the logic in the third custom field in the backend. If the customer is created, let me give you that example. So this is a customer object, okay, and this is a ID mapping. So ID mapping is nothing but whenever you just create a customer and replicate to the ECC or CRM, suppose a customer number is equal to 1. Okay, now this is an internal number. Now external number is different. So that is nothing but the ECC or CRM number range that will just generate external. Okay, external number is 111. Now this number is not placed in the customer. This number is placed here against customer 1. Okay, now customer like that business have a requirement like, hey, if this custom external number is placed here, that will just display in the customer master, but that place in the ID mapping. Okay, so they have just mapped something here. Now they have a requirement, create one more custom field here. Okay, that is Z. External ID. Okay, and whenever the customer is created, both the place customer external ID will be there in the ID mapping as well as in the custom field. So they can directly read the external value from the custom field. They don't want to go to the other business object and read the value. So this is the one requirement of why we require a cloud application studio. So in this case, suppose these are the like custom field 1 and custom field 2. Okay, so this is a free input. Okay, so user can enter. So this is a free input box. User can enter. But this third custom field having a business logic, so you cannot handle through KUT. This 2 field you can handle through KUT because there is a no business logic. But here the business logic is involved. Whenever the customer is created, external ID is created, I need to fill the external ID in the custom field. Okay, so I just explained like this is a KUT and this is a SDK. So any doubt here?
No, we are good.
Okay. Now coming to the like setups and everything. Okay, so you need to just install the .NET framework, Microsoft Visual Cell, Silverlight and Application Studio. Okay, so these are the like a prerequisite component to install the Cloud Application Studio. Otherwise, whenever you install the Cloud Application Studio, automatically system will ask to install .NET and the Microsoft Visual Cell automatic. Okay, so you don't need to just install before this Cloud Application Studio. That will coming as one setup. Now type of user. So like here we have many user like admin user, end user, development user, technical user. Okay, so there are many users available in C4C. So now I will just introduce the system, like how it's look like. So this is a cloud application studio. Okay, it's look like similar to the Visual Studio .NET framework. Okay, because this is placed in the .NET framework only. Now here we have a system. Okay, so now we have a system. Now these are the all the systems that I can access through Cloud Application Studio. This is not a single system. These are the like a multiple system that we can just use. This is similar to the SAP logon page. Okay, just configure your system and just enter your username and password. Let me check. Okay, so I think today is a downtime. Let me just try. If it is available, then I will show you like how it's look like, all the solution and everything. So this is nothing but the my solution, like where you can just log in your system. In the my solution, once you log in, you can create your solution, you can search your solution, you can delete your solution. Okay, so that type of option is available. See, so these are the all the solutions that other user is created. Okay, now here this is option to create a solution. Okay, so I will explain like what are the other functionality, customer specific solution, enter the solution description. Description in details. Okay, we'll see demo. Okay, so select your deployment unit, enter your details. When you click on OK, the solution will be created in the My Solution, and that will reflect to the Solution Explorer. Sorry, it's taking some time.
Mithun, I had another question, like how the transportation happen. It's like we
So
have in SAP.
yeah, it's a manual, like you need to download and you need to just move it to the production system or quality system. So there is a no transportation direct automatically through like a release functionality. Okay.
And similarly, versions are also there, right, to track.
Yeah, definitely. So that based on version, if you just miss one version or you just missed uh, so if suppose like there is a version 1 3 4 5 6 7 like up to 100 whatever, okay, now you just move version 1 and 3, okay, the changes will be there. Now you have made a changes in version 4, okay, now you just download it, you just forgot to just move it to the production, now you just create one more version 5 and you just directly move that version 5 to production system. That is not any issue, okay, but the version 4, okay, if someone is required like, hey, what are the version 4 changes that you have just made, so that is not available. So in that case you need to just first of all move the version 4 changes and the version 5 changes. Otherwise what happened, version 4 changes will be not there.
So you mean to say if I have any delta changes, I will download the version from production, do the changes and upload it there.
Not production.
QA or dev system.
Yeah. So I will explain like how to just version history is coming and how to download and everything. Okay. So these are the all components that you can create through SDK. Okay. So there are different components coming in the analytics. So like a report, data source, and key figure that you can create from SDK. Business configuration. So like I just told you, like you can create your custom drop down and just make it configurable drop down. Okay. So back element is nothing but where you just place that solution. So in terms of SAP CRM, like whenever you just create a package, you just select the component, like which application component, like SD, MM or CRM, right? Same thing like here, like a back element. Extension is nothing but enhancing the standard business object. So enhancing a standard business object, use a business object extension. Embed component, if you want to add a custom component, custom screen within the standard component, then you need to use embed component. Enhancement implementation, that is specific to the standard business object. Process extension scenario, you can use the same custom field in the many business object like lead, opportunity, sales order, etc. Customer KUT field that you need to access through SDK, that you can do that. Mashups and web service. So this is more on like mashups part, like where you can just create a data binding, HTML mashups, okay, port binding, just consuming the REST API, consuming the RSS atom API, SOAP API, URL mashups. This is nothing but the transaction launchers in terms of CRM. Different screen like fact set, quick create, global flow plant, object work list. Okay, so all the like screens that we can create through this SDK. Okay, now the service integration main part. So service integration is nothing but I just explain like how the OData like REST API, web services, external API is nothing but the third party API or any other third party system. XML file input, if I need to upload the data through a Excel file, then I can use the XML file input for my custom business object. Okay, so these are the like main component of the SDK. Okay, so these are like overall like objects in SDK, like how to use, that's based on your business requirement. Okay, so this is full overall about like all the components. So any doubt here like related to this presentation or like today's session?
My expectation was like having a complete real-time understanding and business cases scenario. I hope we'll be covering all those scenarios and all.
Yeah. So if you just check the SDK content, training content, okay, whatever the content is just placed in that, I will explain each and everything. Okay, and each content covering all the screens and everything. Okay, so whatever is required, like all this coming together. Okay, it's not like one by one I will explain, but whenever the part is coming, that component will be there. Okay, so you have idea like, hey, this screen is coming and how to use that. Okay, this form is coming and how it is used in C4C, right? HTML methods. Okay, so different content have a different screen or different scenario, right? So in that case I will explain, because SAP have a provide this functionality, like whenever you design the screen, 5 to 6 screen is created automatically. You don't need to configure it. Okay, so configuration is done automatically through SAP. But they just explain like which type of screen that we have in the C4C, and whenever the screen is generated, there have a specific naming convention like QC, quick create, OWL, object work list, like that type of screen they just not in the like short name. Okay, so it's similar to the module pool program. Whenever you just create a screen in the module pool program, they just ask to just enter your screen number, right? Here we are just entering the screen short name. Okay, so like that way, just the screen is generated and binding together. Okay, and we just ready to use that and just design it.
And how about the certification and all
Certificate is not involved in this, but you can just buy online from the SAP Certificate Hub.
you have the materials and everything will be shared?
Materials, yeah, like materials I have, whatever the SAP provided, that I will give it to you.
I have one question. Can we place the C4C solution along with the on-premise solution?
Sorry?
Can we place the C4C solution, on-cloud solution, along with the on-premise solution, like CRM or ECC?
Okay, you want to place C4C solution in the ECC or CRM?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, but that's like server based, right? And this is a cloud based. So what you need to do, that's way is just design the screen in ECC or CRM, just consume the API, C4C API. Okay, so you don't need to just even the other option, just make a transaction launcher of C4C, and whenever like suppose your customer ID same both the end the customer ID is same. Now you are in CRM system, but you just make a hyperlink of that customer ID, but you want to see like this customer will be C4C, then I just click on it, automatically C4C's customer screen will be displayed. So that type of options you can provide in the CRM system.
So I have one more question. So let's suppose if there is utility client. So how we are gonna place the solution for them using C4C? Like CRM is supporting the ISU part. So C4C has that ability.
You can launch a direct C4C screen. You can launch a direct C4C screen, and you can provide specific authorization to that user, right?
Mhm.
Suppose I have a like a requirement here. My end user have a access of both CRM and C4C both, but they don't create anything. So that type of authorization I will just set in the C4C system. Okay. So whenever
No,
the like, yeah.
let's say if the customer is a new client and it's
Mm-hmm.
more like a utility client, okay, so they are
Okay.
saying we want to implement C4C instead of CRM, as
Hmm.
CRM is now going to be obsolete, so we will go with the future solution.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to implement C4C. So
Okay.
now as a utility client we need to have ISU module.
Okay. So that we need to check everything in the C4C and whether like whatever the requirement that is fulfilled in the C4C and or not. Okay. Otherwise, what they need to do, if that requirement is not fulfilled, then they need to check the feasibility of the technical perspective. Like this is feasible through the technical or not.
Okay, so
Because
whether the integration is possible like between C4C like cloud and ECC.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Why not?
So is
If
it through
customer,
middleware?
yeah, with middleware or without middleware, both the way. Both the way it's possible. If they have a middleware API or HCI, and if they don't have a middleware API or HCI, we can make it a point-to-point integration. Direct web service call.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions
Yeah.
and doubts?
And is that like work centers you have in C4C? So complete new work centers and all those things can be achievable with SDK with proper business logic
Yes.
and all.
Yes, yes. Most of the functionality we can achieve through SDK. Even through the adapt and the configuration part, we can handle it.
Complete new work center screens that can be
Yes,
achieved through adaptation also.
yes, yes. We have option. So you can create a custom business object directly from the front end. The screen is generated automatically and everything. Okay, it's coming in the new work center and everything. So that's a front end cloud business object builder. Okay, but you cannot place your business logic. So I told you if you do anything from the front end, you cannot implement your business logic. If you want to implement business logic, go to SDK.
And how about this learning SDK language? It's like very, it's similar to Java or very different the
If
coding.
you if you know about the business logic and syntax and everything,
Mm,
okay. Syntax is most of the language will be same. Like some language have a bracket, some language don't have brackets, right? Semicolon, everything. So that's a difference. Otherwise, here everything you need to just think about the business logic, how you need to implement.
okay.
Okay, because if even I'm also new from the SDK. Okay, like in the earlier. So because but I know about the like ABAP and everything. So if statement, else statement, for loop, everything, right? Even we have instead of select statement, we have a query. Okay, so that some terms is changed. Okay, but we can just whenever if you have hands-on experience, then you can just directly understand like, hey, how to do that.
Mhm.
So for doing coding in SDK, do we need to have experience in SAP HANA?
No, not required. SAP HANA
So
is a total different language. It's a SAP UI5, HTML plus JavaScript, right? So it's a
yes.
total different things.
So the backend system, the database which they are implementing is like HANA, in-memory
Correct.
HANA system,
Right.
right? So we are going to query the HANA database system. So we don't need the HANA queries.
Nope. Not at all. See, suppose customer. Okay. Now, if I need to query the data, uh, oh, okay. So this is a query data. So they provide like a different options like how you can query the data, execute the query. We can just set the parameter also, but when I can execute, I can able to display the data. I can navigate to the association also, like current command. So these are the like all association that I will explain later. But like here, you can just verify your records and everything. Okay. So all the field will be there like this way. So
So we
table
are not
within.
writing any code.
Sorry.
We are not writing any code or something like for querying the database or something. We are
We are
just
just we need to write the code if required. Okay, but here we can directly check the records and based on some data, like we can understand like, hey, which field is this place, like a custom category code, then use this category code like that way. We need to definitely write the code for querying everything. Okay, so that's it from my end. So let me know like if you have any questions, and you can just drop any questions to Deepali, and just Deepali just send it to me if you have any.
And this system we can install in our desktop and practice do hands-on.
Right.
Okay.
So I will give you the setup. You can install in your system, and you can just set up your SDK in your system.
and how about the server access? You'll provide the
Same.
server access?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. System access setup as well, or everything. Okay. And you can use that setup, and you can just play around with the system. You can just create your solution. I will give you that solution from scratch, like, hey, just implement this solution and you have some hands-on experience.
And also it will like to have these use cases like real time, what are the requirements are coming up, so that
Yeah, I will give it that use case, but you cannot fulfill without a system
integrate.
like ECC system or like a middleware system, right? I will give
Yeah.
you that use case. Okay, so like, but in C4C SDK, and I will just complete that part. Okay. And like it depends your interest, because SAP community, right? In the network they have like placed many questions, many blogs, many documentation, everything. if you've gone through that questions and everything, automatically you can get the business scenario and use case, right? Because that's a best practice. Like every day you just get a new business requirements, new business use case. Okay, so that's the best way to learn. Okay guys,
And
so yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
and as you know, you're quite experienced in this. How is the market? Is it the openings are like more into technical, functional, or techno-functional? Like in terms, like let's say more on my terms of years of experience and all. If I want to
So
switch,
if you have okay, so if you have a more than 10 years experience, like you are just like currently in lead, right? Now,
yeah,
I will suggest you just also start with the functional. Okay, so once
I am quite familiar with the functional part.
great,
And
great. So what you can do, like you can just make it techno function in the cloud for customer, because that will just help you to just make a solution architect within the 2 to 3 years, right? Because
yeah,
because as a solution architect, I need to know SDK, I need to know functional, and I need to know HCI also. Then
correct.
I will propose a solution to customer, correct? Because if you are a solution architect and this customer come with you like, hey, this is my business use case, you can say like, hey, using this way you can achieve, using this way you can achieve, right? So you can provide the options also if you know about every system. Because this is not only for the solution architect. If you are just involved in the pre-sales, you need to provide the estimate also,
Correct.
right? So in the pre-sales activity, you need to just check with the customer requirement, just convert in the functional or just technical, and provide the estimate also, like, hey, within this time we can complete this, right?
In C4C also, man days are been calculated, right? But I heard the delivery time is very less as compared to ECC, like 3 months or 4 months.
Yes. Okay, but that's based on the developer. So if developer know about each and everything, or like he or she is just sufficient experience to just play around with the system, then it's very easy way to just achieve the requirement. Sometimes I'm also getting some trouble to achieve the requirement, but uh, we need to check the alternative way, like how we can achieve. Then you can just stick in the C4C. Otherwise, what happen if you just think only the one solution? If you are not thinking other solution, then you cannot just proceed ahead, right? So you need to check alternative ways also. You need to think your logic like, hey, this is not working, then just provide this solution with the out of the box, just fit in this other object, right? Because many customer what, like they have some scenario, they are not fit in the standard out of the box, okay? But some business objects they are not using, so we can say like, hey, use this business object, this screen, okay, and we can rename it for you, right? So like that way we just achieve some requirements, and they are agree also, because they don't want to go full customization, and just in the future, like they don't want to mess anything in the C4C. So guys, that's it, and I have another call, so let me know if you have any doubts in this session or any queries regarding C4C
Yeah,
SDK.
just one last question. What is the future scope of this C4C solution?
So C4C just like, suppose if I'm just say Now everything is coming in the Hybris, right? Hybris cloud for customer, Hybris marketing, Hybris e-commerce. Now HANA cloud platform, it's called a SAP cloud platform. Now these are like a future scope, okay, honestly. So C4C is one of the product of SAP, okay. They are not just discontinued with this product. Already that other product is running, SAP Business by Design, okay. So that's a failure product, but many customers use that product because it's a like full ERP system, okay. So they are also using the Business by Design with the same platform. All the custom development, all the scenario will be same. Only the screen will be different and business object will be different. Otherwise, everything is same. ABSL language, BODL language, all the custom integration, everything same. So it's not like that, like, hey, in future the SAP is gone in the other technology and like that. So I'm also thinking the same thing, but I just stick with the C4C SDK from last 4 years. So that's like we cannot say anything because this is a SAP, right? So they come also with the new features also or new product, but they just provide the deadline of CRM system, right? Like, hey, after this year we will not provide the support to CRM, okay. So they just migrate these all customer to the C4C system. And anyway, like if they have a like a custom business requirement, we need to definitely test to SDK and fulfill the requirement.
But again, SAP has released that CRM they are going to support in on HANA Cloud or something. Some new thing they have given.
Yeah, S4HANA. Yeah, S4HANA.